Hi, this is Kelly with Soulful Creations, and I'm back with another tutorial. This time I'm making the Gia Clutch by Cee Jay Creative World. You know, clutches will never go out of style. They're always on trend. And Cee Jay has come up with a pattern that's going to make it so easy to sew. You could be going out tonight and you can get this done today. That's how fast it is. An hour, 2 hours, and you're done. What I love about this clutch is that there's not that many pieces, not that much hardware. And let's see, you need a couple of connectors. We're using this one. I use these corset rings. On this one, I use some other type of connectors I had on hand. You need a zipper and a zipper pull, and you need a couple of magnetic snaps. That's it, and a chain. Or you can make your own strap. So there's not a whole lot to making this clutch. And she has two options. You can make it in all solid color or print like I have, or you can do one where the body is one color and the flap is another color. So that's another option. There's also an option to put a bow on it. So, you know, there's so many different ways to make this your own. So get the pattern. I have the link in the description. And don't forget, like, subscribe, and let's get ready to make the Gia Clutch by Cee Jay Creative World. We're getting started making our Gia Clutch by Cee Jay Creative World. And what I have here is my exterior, my main panel, and I'm using all vinyl, and I have it interfaced with Decaville light. I have my markings already on here for my magnetic snap placement. My female magnetic snap goes on the exterior piece. And also I've done the same thing with the gussets. So I have 2 lining gusset pieces, and I have already applied the glue to all these pieces. And I have my 2 exterior gusset pieces, and they have been interfaced with Decaville light, and I have the glue there also because we're going to be folding in the raw edges to the line that we drew. So I'm going to set these aside for a second and work on the exterior. Now, in the pattern, there's 2 options. You can do one solid exterior piece like I've done here. Just cut one piece for your exterior. Or there's a version where you will have 2 pieces. So you'll have a top and a bottom. And that works well if you have like a directional print. And because when you get to folding this into the clutch, if you're using a directional print for the whole piece, then some of your print will be upside down. So you can do the second option, and you can maybe make the bottom part in a solid color and then use the print for the flat portion. And then that way you don't have to have any part of your print going in the wrong direction. Or you can just, if you just choose to do 2 contrasting colors or something. So that's the second option I just wanted to mention. But again, I'm just using the first option, which is one solid piece for my exterior. So now that I have the glue applied, I can go ahead and I'm going to start folding into the line. Okay. And hopefully it sticks well. This glue. Hopefully I didn't let it sit too long. But yeah, I wanted to have it applied because it does work better if it's been sitting for a little bit. So I'm working the straight edges first. Okay, because when I get up to the curve, I am going to add some snips in the curve to help it lay smoothly. Okay, so when you get down here to the corners, don't press it all the way down. You want to leave that up and then start on the other side. And then we're going to bring the corner in together like that and into a point. Okay. And then we're going to snip that part off. And we should have a nice mitered corner when we're done. So it should be just like that. right? Okay. Making sure you can see me. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead in that manner and just get all of this folded over so we have no raw edge. Okay. And this vinyl is from Your Vinyl Source. And I thought, oh, some flowers, a nice floral print would be nice this time of the year. Okay. And so we're getting around. Just smooth it out. Whoever that is that loves to ride their motorbike, it seems like they always know when I'm recording, huh, Jazz? Mm-hmm. They're like, oh, she's recording. Let me ride my motorbike down the street. Okay, so it should butt right up against the Decaville or whatever interfacing you've chosen. Okay, I'm just trying to make sure it's lean. Okay, so now I'm going to grab, so I have these Teflon scissors so they don't stick to the glue, and I'm just doing some 1/8 inch snips around the curve. So don't snip into your seam allowance because then it'll show. So 1/8 of an inch should be enough. Okay. So we're going. All right, so now that I have those snips, now I can just go ahead and just keep working it. And so what I'll do is I'll start a little bit here, and then I'll start to work that down and easing it in. Okay. Just like that. So just leave a little gap. So leave a little gap, and then start a ways, and then work it toward the center to ease it in, just like that. There we go. I'll turn that off for me, Jazzy. Thank you. I always forget to turn the volume off my phone. Okay. Okay, so here we go. We're getting close to the end. And we're just about around. Okay. And she's done it this way so that you don't have any stabilizer in your seam allowance in case you're using a domestic machine, because this is a domestic friendly pattern. And so you don't have extra bulk in your seam allowance. So being very thoughtful of those who don't have an industrial machine. And that's always a plus. Okay. There we go. So now I have all of that. So it looks like that. And then if you want, you can take... Oh, thank you, Jazzy. She's all ready for me. So take this little tool here, and I'm just going to smooth out. Smooth it out. Okay. Now we can just snip these little peaks off right here. There we go. Okay. So now our exterior is prepped and ready for us to add our magnetic snaps. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to fold in. So this one is just a little, no curves, but we will have those little points, those little corners. So we're just bringing it into the line. Just like this. I'm just going to do one here, and then I'll finish up the other 3 pieces, and then we're going to come back and get our lining ready. And I'll show you how to get the lining prepared. And you're going to see how fast this comes together. So I just want to show you what this is going to look like. Okay. We have that, and snip, and snip. Okay, so we have this piece, and then we're going to do the same thing. Don't stick it to your arm, though. That's not good. So we're going to have the 2 in your exterior and 2 in your lining. Okay, so then let me go ahead and finish gluing these down, and then, like I said, we'll come back and we'll put the lining together. Okay, so I went ahead and I finished turning in the raw edges on the gusset pieces, and I used some double-sided tape to put these together. So put the match up the lining and the exterior gussets wrong sides together, and you can either use glue or double-sided tape. So those are ready to go. The exterior is ready. So now we have our lining pieces and our Decaville or whatever interfacing you're using. So this is for the lining. So I have a piece of waterproof canvas. This is the bottom. If you're using cotton, don't forget to interface with a woven interfacing. And I have my vinyl. So this is the top. So this is going to make up the lining. So I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to snip the centers on the straight edge of the top. And then also the top edge of the bottom here. Okay. And we're going to match that up. And we're going to sew this together at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Oops. Okay. So 1/4 inch. And then we're going to push the seam allowance down toward the bottom. Okay. And then we're going to top stitch through the bottom of the lining, 1/8 of an inch away from the seam. Okay, and now your lining should look like this. One thing I forgot to do is she does tell you to snip those little corners off after you sew it together. And that just add a little diagonal there. So I'm just snipping the seam allowance here. Okay, that just removes some of that bulk. If you need to do that, especially if you're using a domestic machine. So now we have the lining, and we also need, so we have our markings because we need to also fold the raw edges in just like we did on the exterior. So we'll do that after we go ahead and apply our Decoville. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take this to my press, and I'm going to apply the Decoville, and I'm going to fold the raw edges in, and then we'll be back. I'm back after I've prepared the lining. I have folded in the raw edges just like I did for the exterior. I've also gone ahead and I've installed the magnetic snaps. So I have the male pieces on the lining up here at the top. And then I have the female portion on the bottom of the exterior. And I also went ahead and added my label. My label is going to be on the back. And I put it on at 5 3/4 up from the bottom and centered. So I just thought that was a good place because when you go to fold this up and over like this, it'll look nice on the back. Okay, so we can go ahead and put this aside, these two pieces aside. Now we should have our zipper pocket pieces. So this is our exterior zipper pocket piece. We have our two lining zipper pocket pieces. We should have a piece of 8-inch zipper tape and a zipper pull. So I'm going to go ahead and take my zipper tape and my two zipper pocket pieces, my lining pieces, and I'm going to lay the zipper tape on top of the long side of one of my zipper my pocket pieces here. And it's going to be, the zipper is going to be wrong side down on top of the right side of my lining. Okay. And it is a little bit longer. That's fine. And we're going to go ahead and sew that on at 1/4 inch seam allowance. So let's go ahead. Make sure the raw edges are matched up. Okay. 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 Then I'm going to fold the seam allowance down towards the lining, and I'm going to top stitch. So it should be like that. Then I'll take the other half and I'm going to match up the sides and also the top raw edge here. And I'm going to do the same thing and sew this on at 1/4 inch. So again, the zipper is wrong side down onto the right side of the lining. These threads. Here we go. And then again, we're going to fold that seam allowance down toward the lining and top stitch. Okay, we're moving right along. Okay, so before I go ahead and put my zipper pull on, I'm going to grab my 1/4 inch double-sided tape. And I'm just going to put a piece at the top and the bottom. I don't go all the way to the ends because then I don't want to have double-sided tape on the sides when I go to sew up the sides. So I just kind of keep it in the middle and away from the sides. So just like that. And I'll go ahead and now I can add my zipper pull. I'm just getting it on there. Okay. And now we're going to take our, which way do I want this? Like this. Okay, there's no right or wrong with this. Okay, so I'm going to lay this on top and then get it centered in my window there. Make sure that I have enough zipper tape on both ends. Okay, get it centered. And then I'm going to go ahead and take the backing off of the double-sided tape on one side. And I'll press that in place. Make sure your zipper pull is not underneath. Okay. Pull the other side off. And then press that down in place. Okay. And now it should look like this. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to top stitch around that zipper window. Leave long tails to pull to the back. Okay, I'm going to pull the tail to the back here before I forget. I almost forgot. Okay. And we're going to start where we started. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to tie these threads off, and then we can finish sewing up the sides and the bottom of our zipper pocket. So So now we're just going to sew this up. So we want to bring it all together here. And we're going to sew as close as we can. So sewing up the sides. Quarter-inch seam allowance. Get as close as you can. Same thing on the other side. Okay, and then we'll do the bottom. Ooh, bless you, Jazzy.
Thank
you. They would have heard your sneeze last night.
I try not to sneeze.
Okay, so now I'm going to trim off just a little bit of the zipper on the ends. Do not trim too close because we don't want it to end up unraveling. So just a little bit off the end, so it's not all the way to the edge of the exterior part. Okay, and then we can give that a little burn there. Okay. And then we're going to, so let's trim down this to about 1/8 of an inch. And we'll trim some of the side down as well. Okay. Now we're going to bring everything together. Okay. So matching up all the raw edge here, we're going to sew this all together at 1/4 of an inch. So we're going to sew around. We're going to sew all the way around all the raw edges at 1/4 of an inch. Okay. Now our zipper pocket's ready. Just make sure I don't have any threads hanging. Okay. So there we go. We have our zipper pocket. It's all lined. Nice. Okay. So now we're going to get ready to add the gussets to our zipper pocket. So we can grab our gusset pieces that we have already prepped. Okay. And so they're all together. Remember, the lining and the exterior are together. They've just been taped together. Okay, and so this is the folded edge and this is the raw edge. So we're going to fold this in half like this. Okay, just like that. And we're going to add that. Make sure everything is going in the same. I like my things to kind of be going in the same direction. Okay. So I'm going to put it on this side. So we're going to match that and have that centered onto our zipper pocket. So it should be centered on just like that. Okay. So that's pretty much centered. And then we're going to sew a 1/4 inch seam allowance down. And we're just going to be sewing on this edge. So see how it starts to curve in here? We're not going to go all the way down. We're going to stop at this point here. And we're going to veer off. And we're going to bring the stitch in and go off the edge over there once we get to that. So if you want to mark about where, you can feel where that is. And so I'm just going to put a clip. And I think she says it's about 3 3/4 from the top. So, 1, 3. You say 3 3. Let me see. Well, I think it depends on where I have it, but yeah, it's close. But just as long as you're just not sewing all the way down to the bottom. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put some clips here on the side. And I'm going to go ahead and sew that. So like I said, 1/4 inch. Start at 1/4 inch seam allowance. And I can feel when I get to that dip there, and that's where I'm going to start to sew up. So now I'm starting to gradually go off the edge. Okay. Just like that. Okay, so it should end up looking like that. Okay. So now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to fold in half. Make sure it's even with the other side. Okay. And this time I'm going to start at the bottom. Okay. So it's about right there. So I'm going to start at the edge, and then I'm going to come in 1/4 inch. Uh-oh, I broke my bobbin thread. I knew I heard it do something crazy. Okay, it's okay. It happens, it happens. So just, let's not panic. Let's not panic, no. Who's panicking? I'm not panicking. Okay. Check this bobbin here. What happened to you, bobbin? You just not having a good day? Gotta talk to your machine. Okay. Let's try that one more time. Now I think I moved it. Let me move it back. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna try again. So try to get it in the same spot. Okay. There we go. Nice. Okay, so now we have our gussets sewn on, looking good. Okay, so now I kind of skipped just a little bit because I wanted to just go ahead and have that ready. Okay, but after we placed our magnetic snaps and your label, if you're going to have one, then you can go ahead and glue the lining and the exterior together. So basically, we're just going to go ahead and match up all the edges and make sure everything fits just right. And we can go ahead, we're going to glue that together. Then we can come back and then we can start attaching our gusseted zipper pocket to the clutch. And then after that, we're just putting our connector on and our strap, and we're done. So let me go ahead and glue these two pieces together, and we'll be back. All right, before we go ahead and add the gusset zipper pocket to our main panels, I forgot to sew the bottom of the gussets. So we need to go ahead and do that. So I've clipped them. So we're going to bring them right sides together. So fold it right sides together, and we're going to sew across this bottom at 1/4 inch, and then we're going to trim it down to 1/8 of an inch. So that's that. I knew I was forgetting something. Okay, and then we'll do the other side. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and trim it down. So about 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so now we're ready to get that going. Okay, so it's going to look like this. It looks a little weird at first. So I've made some marks on the lining part of my main panels, and from 4.5 inches from the bottom, and then another 4.5 inches from that. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to line. So first you want to make sure that your zipper is going to be oriented the right way. So if you want it to go to close to the left, make sure your zipper pull is going. So if you're looking at it from this way, your zipper pull should be to the right. If you're looking at it from the bottom, it should be going to the left. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to start matching. So these folded edges should match up with the bottom. Okay, but before I'm missing, I keep skipping. I'm sorry to keep skipping ahead. Okay, it's so quick, but I want to make it quicker by skipping steps, huh? We need to go ahead and top stitch the straight bottom edge first before we put that together. So I'm so sorry to be trying to jump the gun. So I'm going to go ahead and top stitch this bottom part here. So we're just going right across the bottom straight edge. Some of my glue wants to be unglued. Okay. Okay. Now she says we can go ahead. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead. So again, I have my zipper to the right side. I'm going to go ahead and match up these folded edges here at the top. And I'm going to clip. And then the bottom edge should come right to that mark that we made. And it does. Okay. And then I'm going to roll it. And then I'm going to put the other folded edge up here on the mark, the other mark that I made. Okay. And then we can just clip it. It's going to seem a little tight at first, but it will all work out. Trust me. Okay, so we're going to do one side at a time. So it's going to look like that. And we're going to sew around. And we're going to sew. And we're going to go all the way around. Well, we're going to clip the other side because we're going to sew all the way around, up around the other gusset and back down. So go ahead. We're going to go ahead and match up this side as well. So match up that with the bottom. Make sure it matches up with the mark we made. And it does. See, so we're looking good here. Okay. And then back up here. And like I said, it'll seem a little tight, but we got this. We got this. Okay. Let's secure it with the clips. Make sure that they're in the same spot, which they are. Okay. And we'll just clip it. There we go. There. So that's how it should go. Let me get our pocket all situated in there. Okay. It's gonna look okay once we get it all sewn. I just want to show you. So that's what it's looking like, okay? So we have our gussets all clipped on. So now, as I was saying, we're going to start sewing from here, from the bottom edge, and we're going to sew around. We're going to go around the flap, down around this gusset, and back to the other bottom edge. So your stitching will be, I am stitching from the inside. So I want to make sure that my bobbin is nice and the tension's good. because the bobbin thread is what's going to be showing, unless you have like a cylinder arm and you can do it the other way. But this is the only way that I know that I can do it on this flatbed machine. So I really am going to have to like work and move this out of the way and push it down. So don't be afraid to do that. Okay, so I'm going to start in this corner. Back stitch. Okay. And I'm just going to be pushing it. And I think I'm going to go ahead and knock scissors down. Ay, ay, ay. I want it. Okay. I like to use these. I like to use these little pliers to hold my seam down here so nothing shifts. Okay. I'm just keeping it, and I'm just going to go nice and slow. Now, when I get down in this corner here, down at the bottom, I have to push it up and roll it over, okay, to be able to sew the bottom. So don't be afraid to push it up and roll it over. As long as you keep everything nice and tucked and flat underneath, it should be okay. So we're just pushing everything. I'm lifting up the foot and pushing everything and rolling it over. And then once I get that bottom stitched, then I'll go right back to the flat part here on that side. And hopefully those stitches are looking okay underneath. Okay, so now we're going to get on the flat part. And I'm just taking my time going around the curve. And now I'm back, getting to the gusset. I hope I didn't mess up there, because it sounded a little ugly, but we'll see. Okay, so I'm getting close to the bottom again, where I'm going to have to roll it. Okay, so I'm just going to push underneath and roll it. And like I said, just making sure everything stays flat underneath. And just hand crank it if you need to. Okay. So I'm getting close to the top here, or the bottom, back to the other side. Okay. And there we go. Okay. Alrighty, so I did have a couple of little bobbles back here, you know, where on this little thick part, but I was able to sew back over it. One thing I do want to mention is, and I don't know if it was me but I don't remember seeing where we top stitch the gusset, and I think I overlooked that. So we should have a top stitch along here. the gusset before we put it together. So yeah, this one I'm keeping, so it's no big deal. But the next one, I'll definitely know that you want to top stitch right across the fold of the gusset before it's attached to the zipper pocket. So just keep that in mind. So I applied one of my corset rings on one side with the rivet, and I'm going to do the other side. So I just used the pattern piece to mark the placement of the rings here. And so I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to punch the hole, and I will put my rivet here. And I got these from Amazon, and they came with rivets, but the rivets were not double cap rivets. And since it's going to show on the back side, I just used my own rivets that I already had. So it worked out just fine. Okay, because I didn't want an unfinished looking rivet on the back. So okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and use my press, secure that, and voila, got my connectors on, the snaps in place there. Very good. Let's put our chain strap on and see how it looks. So here we go. This is so cute. I might have to carry this one to my son's graduation. So cute. Look at that. So that is the Gia Clutch from Cee Jay Creative World. So I could have probably put my label up a little bit higher, but I kind of like that. Let me take this little plastic off the back. And I love that. It came together so easily. I mean, I forget my little mistakes when I kept trying to jump the gun. But that's because it goes together so fast. I was just trying to make it go even faster. But you open it up. You have your zipper pocket there. You can put your change in there, or your cards, your bills. You have plenty of room. You can put your phone in there, keys, whatever. So again, thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that little bell to get notifications. And thank you for joining me at Soulful Creations.